Hello everybody and welcome to a JK Running Productions video. Today's video, guys, I'm going to break down my first cross-country race of the sophomore year, first cross-country race of 2022, and I'm going to talk about what I did right, some of my main takeaways from this race, and also talk about what I think I can improve upon for the next race. With that, everybody, though, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the race vlog down below before watching this race breakdown. With that, everybody, though, let's get started breaking down this race. So going into this race, I kind of talked about this the day before, just wanted to just go into the race and see what I can do. I'm gonna be honest, my legs were very tired from all the mileage. I really hadn't ran a ton over the summer. I did what I could to the best of my ability with my running. I was running maybe high 30s, low 40s. I was working hard on my internship and I didn't have enough time to really go over 50 miles a week or try and push for that 50-mile-a-week mark, because I knew if I did that, I would most likely get injured and I would just really burn myself out. So I was extremely sore kind of going into this race. My legs definitely did feel better towards the end of the week as we had a little bit more of recovery time. I started the race out, gun goes off. Really, that first 2K, I kind of didn't go with them. I was kind of not feeling great. I really wasn't feeling great at all through that first 2K. Then once I got to 2K, something like, I would say, just like a mental switch came and my legs started feeling better, and I was like, let's see how many people we can catch. So I went into that like hunter mentality zone of just trying to hunt people down. So what ended up happening was there was one teammate in front of me and I went past him. I tried to motivate him to get going, but he didn't want to go with me. Then eventually I caught up to another teammate of mine. Again, I was like, let's keep this pace, stay with me. He wasn't able to keep pace with me, but after that, pushed past him, and then it got to around 400 to go, and 400 to go, I honestly was about to puke. I had to stop myself from puking, but I almost puked, and I heard a teammate yell, JK, go get him, and it was a teammate that was ahead of me. He was maybe like 50-something meters ahead of me. Last year with one of my other teammates, I was able to push really hard and able to pass him at the line, so I knew I had a kick, where if I got close enough, I could just out-kick him, and that's what essentially happened. I ended up crossing the line and beating him, and I was really happy with that, considering I hadn't beat two people specifically at all. Last year, they were pretty much ahead of me the whole time. They ran faster times indoor, outdoor, and it felt good just to beat them and get past that mental barrier of not being able to beat them and flip that mental switch that, hey, I can actually compete with these guys and I can run with these guys. So I was really happy about that. But in hindsight, guys, the time really wasn't great. I ran 23:42 for 6K, and last year I ran 23 flat for 4 miles. This course, I would say, is a little bit harder. It's a lot more rolling hills, but still, I don't want to make excuses for the hills, the course. The time just really wasn't great, but I'm happy with how I was able to compete. But overall, guys, I would say this was a good race. It wasn't a great race because of the time and because of not necessarily placing in the top half of the race, but it was a good race in terms of being able to compete with those people that I hadn't been able to compete with at all last year. So that shows that I definitely am making improvements. So going into the next race, I want to try and get out maybe a little bit harder, and I want to try and latch on and stay with a little bit bigger of a pack, so that way I'm not doing a lot of work in terms of just trying to hunt people down, because as much as I like hunting people down, as the race goes on, it gets more spread out and those places get farther and farther apart, which makes it harder and harder to try and catch people, and you're in no man's land a lot. So I want to try and, this next race, try and stay with the pack and try and just work with them, keep going, push it, and hopefully at the end I'll be able to use my kick and hopefully try and beat them. So with that, guys, so that is my thoughts of my first cross-country race of sophomore year. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn those post notifications on to see how well this season goes for me, and also make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Strava. Join the JK Running Productions Strava Club. With that, everybody, though, I'm going to sign off like I always do. The grind never stops.